You are listening to the Keenan Vision podcast produced by Salesforce DevOps.net. This is episode 5, broadcast Friday, February 18th, 2022. Do more with less. An interview with Kumar Chivukula of Opsera. Let's commit. And welcome everybody to the latest in the Keenan Vision interview series podcast. My name is Vern Keenan. I am the Senior Industry Analyst at SalesforceDevOps.net. And today I have Kumar Chivukula, who is the, what is your title there at Opsera, Kumar?
Co-founder and CTO of Opsera.
Right, you're the co-founder and chief technical officer. So, before we get going, why don't you just kind of give our audience a background of how you got going in tech? Like, I love to hear about those early stories about how you got interested and what brought you to Opsera today.
Yeah, first of all, great question and a great meeting with you, Vernon. And really, thank you for the opportunity. And we happy to be part of this session in your podcast. And
Yep.
you've been a great community servant with respect to Salesforce, DevOps, and in general Salesforce. And we sincerely appreciate that. Okay.
You're a big part of it, so I'm glad to have you.
Yeah. Having said that, we're all technologists at heart, right? And it's just deep down my heart, and I was an engineer by background, and deep down my heart, and technology was always, an entrepreneurship technology was always there in my head, and I wanted to just continue to do something that entrepreneurship and in technology. So, and it was not easy, but it took a while for me to get to where I am right now with respect to entrepreneurship. But technology wise, I'm still very appreciative of the technology and how it is helping the companies and helping the people, helping the people lives. But coming back to the context of that, I've been in the Bay Area for last 22 years and
Mm-hmm.
predominantly worked in the technology sectors. Last 16 years prior to Opsera, 10 years at Adobe, about 6 years at Symantec. Look, where how Opsera started is where we saw the journey in Adobe and Symantec, and the bunch of parallels to both the journeys, and most both companies where I was part of the companies, the workloads moved to a hybrid cloud and multi-cloud journeys. We saw that software delivery management is not fully baked into the equation, and it was not addressed in the manner it's supposed to be. And I thought it was a coincidence at Adobe when we saw that myself and Chandra, my co-founder and CEO at Opsera, when we saw the problem at Symantec, when he moved to the Uber, we validated and talked to a bunch of people, realized that people are migrating to the cloud with lift and shift, but they're not really taking care of the software delivery management. We need to help them out, and we struggled through it. We created a solution at Symantec, part of the solution. Now we took
So,
the
so it sounds like you were in like 5 or 10 years ago. You were high level IT at Symantec, trying to probably merge companies in a lot and do crazy stuff like that. And you started to move to the cloud. And at the beginning, people were just doing what you called lift and shift,
yeah.
which is to, I think you would just take the same computers you were running on site and make them virtual machines in AWS or something of that nature,
Yeah,
right?
something like that. It's not a lift and shift is not the word that people use it, but it's like moving the workload as is without modernizing the workload to the
Right,
cloud native.
right,
Okay,
right.
in a technical terms.
And then you kept going and kind of modernized that
Yeah, we
approach.
modernized at Symantec. Definitely, we modernized. We went through the process of software delivery management, and we did the federated access model for a bunch of engineering groups. That created inspiration and also gave the opportunity for us to start the Opsera working. Basically, we talked to people like you, industry execs, and VP of engineering, CTOs, CAOs in various companies. We talked to them. They concurred with the fact that it is a pain point for them. It is not done right, and it is impacting agility, velocity, and also impacting the visibility across the board. What is they're not able to see through the entire gamut of the landscape. That's one aspect of that, and
Mm-hmm.
we also discovered as part of that people are also struggling with SaaS applications along with it.
Yes, yes.
That's another aspect that also intrigued us, and we want to build a solution, not just a point solution for one particular workload. We want to create an orchestration where in which it can help enterprise customers where they can move the workloads of SDLC, which is software delivery lifecycle management, SaaS applications, and infrastructure as a code, and provide the visibility and governance on top of it. That was the genesis behind that. I know we went provided a long-winded answer, but that's the genesis.
Well, it's not a long-winded answer because I think there's a lot of interest right now, and I think a topic we're going to talk about, which is SaaS DevOps, which is this idea that some sort of unified approach is needed, is wanted by customers
Yeah.
who have all of these systems now and have got configuration nightmares coming out of that. You're seeing that with your customers, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so just we kind of set the table there a little bit. Why don't you just tell me the elevator pitch for Opsera? You know, if I don't know what it is, and I'm an IT guy, a senior IT guy, or maybe a Salesforce architect, what do I need to know?
So yeah, the Opsera, we are a continuous orchestrator, and our goal and vision is to make the software delivery faster, better, and secure for the enterprise companies. So, what is the pain points, and what are the pain points we're solving in the industry currently, right? As we briefly alluded, a lot of the companies migrated to cloud, and they have not really modernized the workloads. And also, when they migrated to cloud, they kind of graduated from EC2 instances to containers to the serverless to the microservices. But they
Right.
also have multiple languages behind that. There are multiple applications, SaaS applications, but they have a bigger problem is on-demand releases to improve the velocity and agility and improve the security posture. But given that they have a multiple variations of the workloads, multiple variations of the languages and applications, it is very, very hard for them to achieve the value that they are intended to do in the first place. There are a lot of point solutions are there in the market. They're not able to address them in a unified way, and then also a lot of the DIY is coming in the way. Opsera, what we're taking the best of the DIY, and then some of the
Mm-hmm.
black box solutions that we have, choice and flexibility from DIY, and then automation from the black box solution, created orchestration, where in which we allow the people to have the choice and flexibility with toolchain automation, help them with no-code pipelines that can cuts across SDLC, SaaS, and infrastructure as a code with quality security gates and governance. On top of it, we provide the visibility, where in which they can make intelligent decisions. We took inspiration from NIST, Department of Defense, and DORA, and where in which people can create the dashboards and understand the maturity levels, understand what the gaps are, and so that they can continue to make investment. In by doing so, the companies can go to market faster. They don't have to worry about wasting the time and doing this all the mechanical work that happens behind the scenes. And the
Right.
second thing is they can do it, improve the quality security posture, and then do more with less.
Okay, so let's start unpacking that a little bit. So the if I'm doing SaaS development, like I'm doing Salesforce deployments or
Yeah.
something like that, Opsera can let me kind of take a low code approach to how I manage my release process. Is that correct?
Yes.
So describe how that works.
So imagine that you have a Salesforce today, like with five developers, maybe like four, five
Mm-hmm.
environments, and one or two Salesforce organizations. The
Mm-hmm.
common pain point is they may be either using manual deployments or change sets today. That's the pretty common
Right.
common thing for them.
Don't want that.
So as a result, and also they have a larger organization where they try to go with point solution, but they kind of stuck with it. And what happens is when you want to have a true DevOps adoption with respect to CI/CD and source-driven development, source-driven deployment, you need to have a common solution that can solve the problem in a manner where we can seamlessly integrate your Salesforce organizations, and you also connect to the Git repositories and be able to enable the Salesforce developers and release managers to move the components, objects, profiles, permissions, and packages from the time they check into the code all the way to the production Salesforce organization in a way where they can get the approvals and proper approvals with approval gates, have a proper security checks and controls with SonarQube or a PMD scan or whatever the code scan that they want to
Right.
comfortable with it, and quality tools like Selenium Pro or a bunch of other things, how they
Yep.
can bring all of them together and get the notifications to Slack and Microsoft Teams or you are the Jira and service now, and then be in a position to see the visibility of what is happening, who is doing it, why this deployment is running, what's the value of that. At the end of the day, you need to connect the dots back to the business value, right? It's not about just automating the sake of automation. So
Right.
this common framework make it easy for the enterprise customers to adopt source driven development, source driven deployment.
So I'll go ahead and kind of compare you to what I call the top five Salesforce DevOps platforms.
Yeah.
in just this one way. Uh, so I think you've articulated that what Opsera is what I call a command server, meaning that it will take control of your DevOps pipeline and invoke all those elements that you were talking about in the right order. So it will, do a release. It'll check with your Sonar queue before you do a deployment. It'll invoke all of those actions sequentially. So it is an alternative to the top five Salesforce DevOps platforms like Capado and AutoRabbit and Flowsum and GearSet and Blue Canvas, who are the five that I've identified. So you'd use Opsera instead of one of those, right?
Yes, that is
Okay.
right.
And it's because you're giving you say you're giving IT operations people more control over their deployments now with kind of this unified GUI, right? This
Yeah, it's a self-service portal with a SaaS portal where they can have a common orchestration platform with the way that we've built the architecture is uh, container-based and microservices. As a result, we are
mhm.
flexible enough to expand the use cases, and the way the architecture is built, we factor for the multiple use cases I mentioned, right? You can have a today's Salesforce, tomorrow you have Adobe Experience Manager, or you have SAP application, or you have a Snowflake, and all these things are completely possible through Opsera along
Right.
with SDLC and infrastructure as a code. So as a result, most of the enterprises they don't want to just have one solution because there are dependencies. Salesforce is no longer one small application anymore. It's a big platform.
Right.
In a analogy, in a way to put it, we are the Salesforce for the DevOps. We are the Datadog of the DevOps because we are democratizing it and try to give the opportunity for companies and enterprises to build their release management using Opsera without them writing a lot of blue code. That is the power that we offer to them.
And that's why your customers want that. That's why they're
Yes.
coming to you is because they see their business people able to do these things.
Yes. Not only business people get the visibility and IT, rightfully so. Any DevOps team and release team and Salesforce developers or Snowflake
Hmm.
developers, and like recently we're in the process of Informatica Cloud as well. So they're able to see the value and potential, all the work that they're doing manually or like doing some kind of point solutions. They can see all of it, and governance and the quality security is very, very important for the companies because every company is a software company. This is not me saying it. It was a Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, he made a famously said
Oh
that every
yes. And
software company
software's
you
eating
cannot.
the world too. Don't forget that one.
I I don't know about that, but generally speaking, they have to
Yes.
build the bits, they have to build the code, they have to build the binaries and to make it faster and put the features in customer hands.
Yes, absolutely. I think so. Sounds like Opsera is out there making Salesforce DevOps go faster. How is that?
So I'll give you a few examples from the customer. Don't take my word, okay? I don't want to just use my
Okay.
numbers to you. And we were working with a few customers, and we are already
Hmm.
using a lot of the Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 customers are using a platform. Recently, one of the healthcare company, they were doing the chain sets, and they're taking anywhere between 3 to 15 hours for a deployment per week, and they have few people join the call, and there are a lot of inconsistency issues, and we've demonstrated and they used Opsera within 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes they're able to complete the deployment. And same with
Oh,
profiles
cool.
migration, it used to take 3 hours, it takes about 6 to 8 minutes. That's the power that we giving that eyes lit up. There's another company which was recently bought by Oracle. I'm not going to name the name of the company. uh, so that company, there are 22 people. They join and they spend 2 hours every week, and sometimes
Nice.
monthly releases can go longer. And the one thing I appreciate the exec we were talking about. I don't want my team to work on weekends and evenings and spend this midnight oil situation. So burning the midnight oil, and he wants to get out of the situation. I sincerely appreciate empathy around the leadership, right? Call about that, talk about that. So they you don't want to spend time on the weekends, evenings, and nights and spending time on the releases when you can do it in a seamless fashion. That's the power that Opsera can offer.
Excellent. Um, I think one thing that's a little different from you, other than this kind of multi SaaS perspective, so you could be doing the same thing you're doing for Salesforce for other SaaS systems eventually. Um, is that you kind of have like an app store almost, or a little ecosystem of partners associated with Opsera. What tell us more about that?
So we have a partnerships and technology partnerships and as well as SA partnerships right now, and we have a concept called a tool registry. The way we do it, and we're not how we give the choice and flexibility is we want to encourage people to bring the tool chain and their applications into Opsera. Whether you have a Git repositories or a Slack or Microsoft Teams, or ServiceNow, Jira, or you have AWS, Azure, Salesforce, Snowflake, Informatic, whatever you have, and you can bring them. You can seamlessly bring them into the Opsera tool registry, and we have a way to handshake in a secure way and using various methods, and we can talk about it at a later time, but that's the method that we have. As a result, we're able to expand our Opsera ecosystem to 50 plus integrations already, and in the last 10 12 months we have a partnership with AWS marketplace, AWS
Hmm.
partnership. We are on the Salesforce app exchange, and we have a marketplace integrations with Azure as well. We also finalized Ashikar Vault, and we have a partnership with them with the Vault to store secrets, Vault, and, passwords, keys, whatnot. You can bring your own Vault, and
Right.
we're excited to work with them. They're a great partner of us, and we have Octopus and from SIs we have a
Oh,
partnership.
Octopus. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
Octopus is also there, and the with regards to SIs, and we have a couple of one large SI and one another global SI. We're working with them. We're in the final stages of announcing the partnership. I don't want to prematurely share the names, but we're going to
Oh,
announce them in the next few days.
well, that's interesting. Before we leave the topic of partners, I just want to make sure that any software developers or other vendors who are listening know that Opsera does have a partner program, and it's pretty easy to get into it. So if you
Yeah.
want to distribute your product through Opsera, that's an opportunity.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the the comment on that. Really appreciate. Yeah, we believe in the partner ecosystem because at the end of the day, it takes a village, and we're just we're trying to bring the platform. We need partner ecosystem to help the companies to do it, and we are a product and SaaS company. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I want to just switch up a little bit. We'll get back to the company, but there's got to be, when I built my share of companies, I had my share of harrowing experiences when building a company, and there's got to be, I'm you got to Kumar, you got to share a story with us about Opsera through the trials and tribulations that you've been through as a founder.
There are many, but more importantly, I'll tell you like the team, and I want to share
Okay.
that the team like building the team is one thing is absolutely is it's fun exercise, but I give a lot of credit to the team. We have a great team, and they are the force behind the Apsara, and they are very committed, dedicated, customer first mindset, and that culture, building the culture and team is something we take a lot of pride in it, and as a collective team,
Mm-hmm.
and to do that work, and we have to go through so many sacrifices in many areas, but from we started with the four people and started with two and then four and then now 45, and we continue to grow, and just like if you can put a plug in, we're hiring both in
Oh,
US and India. Anybody is looking for a job with respect to sales, marketing, engineering, we're open, happy to talk to you. And
excellent. I think I've reposted that on the Salesforce group over there on LinkedIn. So anybody who's looking for jobs should go over there and take a look. Yeah, I mean, you're one of these companies that have exploded during the pandemic,
pandemic,
right?
yeah, that's where I was going to that, and we had a lot of stories, and we were able to, just to be honest with you, like during the pandemic, first wave of pandemic, we were able to sail through it, and second wave of pandemic, we had a lot of tough stories, especially in India, that the Delta variant, and a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
impacted. It was really hard for us and for them, and it was not easy for us to deal with, and also for the employees, and but we employees stuck with it, and then I have to appreciate every employee and then their commitment, dedication, and they went through a lot, and they've been through a lot with extended families, them individually, and then immediate family members. We extended the support to everybody. We took a hit for that, but at the end of the day, it's employees that makes a difference. And
Wow.
I believe in this thing, right? Which is many leaders have said it before me. I'm a broken record here. Happy
Uh-huh.
employees, happy company, happy customers, happy investors. Employees are not.
Excellent.
If you don't take care of employees, nothing else will not happen. The rest of everything else, yeah, you'll be able to see the success, but not in a way you want to brag about it.
So you mentioned earlier, which I think is a fascinating topic, that you're about to announce some partnerships with system integrators, the proverbial global system integrators. I have no idea who it is, but these are companies like Accenture and Capgemini and so forth. Those type of companies. You don't have to name them, but I'd be fascinated to hear more about how you interact with them and how they use your product.
So it's a great question. So we've been working with them, and they've been testing Opsera because they're also going to the customers and try to add value as part of the digital transformation. Every
Right.
customer wanted to understand that not just the services provided by people, how can they add value in transforming their release management system, software delivery management, cloud migration, various other things, data management, various other use cases. And they just don't want to solve it just by people only. Yes, you can solve the people problem for complex things, but things that you do it in repeatable way, and things that you want to be in a
Hmm.
consistent manner, and where you want to measure the quality, measure the security, measure the performance, and how can you do it in a manner where it can use it, the same platform can be used across multiple use cases, where they started to see the more and more companies are asking for these type of things in the part of as part of the one is that in the digital transformation you have a cloud transformation, then comes the inevitable thing is DevOps, because software delivery management is different thing in the cloud. It's no longer the same. It's a SaaS application. Software delivery management is different. They're struggling with it. Instead of having the bunch of siloed and point solution, customers are asking them to provide a unified orchestrator. As a result, we had outreach, and we also reached out to a few people, and then we started working with them. Basically, it doesn't happen just because they called us and we called them, and you have
Yeah.
to go through the series of interactions, and they evaluate with you with their own customers and partners, internal teams and architects. And once they feel once they feel the confidence, and also like they can go to market together, then they'll initiate the paperwork, and that's where we are. And we got validated through customers, validated through partners of their own partners, and also their architects, and that's where we are having conversation.
So it sounds like they kind of evaluated you to be like a utility capability for them that they
It's
could
more of a turnkey
apply
solution. Yeah, it's like a
apply a solution
yeah,
to software delivery,
yeah.
enterprise
Software delivery
application.
management needs, yes.
Wow, neato. So I hope that goes well because because working with global system integrators is usually problematic.
I would not say that way, but it's a lengthy process because for companies like
Yes.
us, and but they're necessary. You have to with their support and help, we can grow really fast, and if you do it right, and you have to pick the right partner. They have to. That's like a marriage. At the end of the day, partnership is all about marriage, and we. We believe that we are in the right place at the right time at this time to expand our partnerships for sure, especially with SIs.
That's great. So I think if I'm thinking about using Opsera and I'm a new customer, why don't you tell me a little bit about the onboarding process, what that's like?
So it's easy. All you have to do is today, like in go to opsera.com and sign up for demo. And we have two ways to engage with the customers. Either we can show the demo and do the couple of hours POVs. And if it is a Salesforce use case, since we're talking about it, all you have to do is bring the Salesforce organizations are credentials that you have with connected app, and then we provide you a source code repository. In 2 hours you can have end-to-end release management automation done with Opsera. You don't have to do anything, and all you have to do is just bring those two things, and that's one way to do it. Second one is we try to, like with enterprise companies, you have to go through the because of the larger deals. Sometimes you have to go through RFP process as well. That's a different conversation. But in general, we have a demo and quick demo and a POV engagement, and then outreach. We are in the process of launching free trial, and where in which customer can sign up. We can sign up, and it will be coming in the next few months, and it will be soon, very soon actually.
Okay,
So
so that'll be a free trial where people can just sign up.
yeah, themselves without us
Uh,
talking, without talking to
don't
us.
have to talk to anybody, and you
Yes.
just are able to sign up and have some sort of trial level or
Yeah, trial
perpetual
level for the 14
access.
days, 30 days, what have you. They
Hmm.
can get the experience, and it's like a
Hmm.
driving the test drive car, but not just 1 hour. They can drive it for 30 days.
Right. So it sounds like you don't. It sounds like even though there's a system integrator looking to use your product, you don't need a system integrator to use Opsera.
No,
Right.
we have a lot of Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies are using it, born in the cloud, and
Hmm.
the companies that the large enterprises been in the business for many years, and we've dealt with both sides of the equation. Yeah, they we engage with them, and now that we have a proof points, and with the help of SIs as along with our GTA motion that we have with our own sales motion, that awesome team we have in the sales and marketing, and they are going to help us grow, and from that's where we are, and then the next 12 to 18 months is a fascinating journey for us.
Neato. Now, do you have any advice for listeners who are looking to maybe get one of those jobs we were talking about earlier? What is it? What is it that you think is going to be a good career path for different folks to maybe get beyond the entry level and do more of this application SaaS DevOps and application orchestration stuff we're talking about?
So there are two parts to the question, if I'm not mistaken. One is you're talking about how
Mm.
they can come and apply for the job, and are they or how they can look into the jobs in these type of roles, right?
How do people do their personal development to get
Right.
ready to be a great Opsera employee?
So it's funny that you say that. Like we were talking to one of the company, that existing company, cybersecurity firm, and then we had a meeting with them, a monthly meeting, and they had a couple of interns join. This is the first rodeo of the DevOps for them, first DevOps tool that they're using, Opsera. And we asked them, what's your feedback? First thing is that it took like literally 30 minutes for me to join, log in, and play around with it, and I was able to do my deployment and my release, and it's kind of sleek. And I asked them, what did you learn? How did you learn the whole thing? I said, it took just followed the documentation, and it was very intuitive. And generally speaking, the reason I'm just giving the example is all you need to do is basic concepts of cloud management, and then basic concepts of what is the DevOps. DevOps is not a technology; it's a culture, and where the developers and operations have to come together and work on a common goal and the common vision, common objective. That's where the value comes to the enterprises, and they can provide value to the consumers. So, or customers in this case, if they have a interest in the cloud and then basic knowledge of the git commands, and which is pretty nowadays is the ninth. You go to high school kids, they are much smarter than the people that are in this. I'm sorry to say they say that way, but
Oh
I
yeah.
cannot compete with them, and they know much more than they can write a great Python programming or Java programming than I can ever imagine myself, right? So if you know the basic commands and basic stuff, and you can explore yourself, learning your way, and then there's so much material out there, and with various forums and whatnot, and you can just apply for the Coursera, Udemy, and a bunch of other learning portals, or LinkedIn portal, and where you can learn these things. And certification, like Salesforce certification, one of the easiest one in the entry level. Then they can work their way up, and same thing with the
Right.
DevOps, AWS certification, Azure certification. They can take it and then try it out, and because these are necessary things. SaaS and the cloud is going to stay, and having that knowledge is going to help them, whether they go to a program manager, or they go to the developer, whether they go to the architect, whether they go to the management level. They need some kind of knowledge about how these things are operated in the first place. So I think I suggest them to go and explore them, the cloud certification, AWS, Azure, GCP, or Salesforce, or any of the SaaS applications, Snowflake. Do the basic level, get an understanding. They can pick their path from there.
It sounds like you're definitely emphasizing, which I do as well, that besides learning Salesforce, you got to kind of learn this cloud native DevOps
Yeah.
world
Yeah.
that's been around for 10 years already and is what runs AWS and GCP and Azure
Yeah.
and those platforms. So to become adept at operating AWS or GCP is certainly a great skill
Yeah,
to
it comes handy, because even the Salesforce is also their Heroku platform, and it's a cloud, right? And yeah, they're also moving into the source driven developments deployment. They acquired a bunch of companies. It's inevitable.
Okay, Kumar, we're almost at the end here. I'm going to give you one last chance to give listeners a pep talk. And I think you got a great pep talk on how we can use tools like Opsera to maybe make our enterprises go better and faster.
Yeah, basically, like if you're in the process of transforming the cloud and software delivery management or struggling with the existing tools, just give us a call and we're happy to help you. And all it takes is couple of hours of 30 minutes to a couple of hours investment. Where you will not regret calling us for sure, and we'll make sure that your software delivery is going to be faster, better, and safer than ever before, and make sure that we'll provide the value for sure.
Okay, everybody, you got to keep your eye on Opsera and Kumar Chivukula here for being leaders in SaaS DevOps as we move forward through 2022 and beyond. So thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's Keenan Vision podcast, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Vernon. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the conversation. Very insightful questions and very probing questions, and sincerely appreciate it. Looking forward to talking to you more in the near future.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, and we'll see
you.
everybody later. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this edition of the Keenan Vision podcast. You can get more information about Opsera from their website, which is opsera.io. You can reach Kumar Chivukula on LinkedIn by his username spelled KUMAR-CHIVUKULA. Please come to the Salesforce DevOps.net website and sign up for email notifications of significant updates. Thanks to 10 Ton Chicken for the music, which is available on iTunes. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review about how we did on this podcast.